Why do we feel it's necessary to yak about bullshit in order to be comfortable?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Late Night with the Gringo. I'm your reluctant Gringo, back again with another episode, another evening episode. And first things first, if you see the lights flicker, you hear the thunder, the lightning, the pounding rain. Yes, it's monsoon season here in central Mexico, so it just began kind of like a few hours ago. We've had tremendous storms roll through here, so hopefully it doesn't cause any disruption. But we'll see. You know, it's a risk we take. And but we'll see. But they've been pretty intense. Of course, I love thunderstorms, so it doesn't bother me. Cools the area down and everything like that. So, but welcome to the night show, which is always centered more so on pop culture and pop culture news, entertainment news. Now, if you were with us earlier today, then for South of the Border, which is our afternoon show, our early afternoon show, then you saw that. One story dominated, and it happened to be a story that shocked the hell out of me and shocked the hell out of a lot of people. But hey, in case you haven't heard, there's an American who's Pope now. So take that for what it is, but we're going to leave that at that because we discussed that ad nauseum already this afternoon. We are going to talk about a lot of financial stuff today, fun financial stuff when it comes to the movies. And sort of if you saw the thumbnail, you kind of get the idea that, Hollywood's hurting. A lot of things are going to hurt. Now, also, with, a few days ago, Trump announcing that he's going to put tariffs on movies that are made overseas. You gotta wonder how Hollywood's going to respond and continue to respond. And they have really no other option but to sort of reevaluate their whole system, their whole process, the whole way in which they do movies. And Bob Iger even makes a comment about that in one of the articles that we're going to discuss. But first things first, when movies do bad, theaters do bad. So let's get right into it, everybody. Let me pull this up here for everybody to see. Pardon me for a second here. And no, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. Yes. All right. AMC Theaters, basically the largest theater chain in the United States, had a quarterly loss of $202.1 million after the box office got off to a rocky start. Now, I pulled up the box office numbers before we get into it, just so we remember some of the films that went out. Captain America: Brave New World. $414, but really you got to cut that in half because the theaters only get half. So the numbers I'm going to read to you, the theaters only get half of that. So Captain America: Brave New World, around $200 million go to the theaters. Snow White, about 100, if not less. Thunderbolt's still going. This is their second weekend. We'll see what happens there. Dogman, Bridget Jones's Diary, Mickey 17, a very expensive film, and not a very good one, of course. That it gets cut in half to about, less than $65 million. So you see all these. The Amateur, great film. Accountant 2, great film. Again, just not doing any numbers, not doing the numbers that they need to do to be profitable. The Monkey, Stephen King. Thought that would do better. That again, you're just going to cut all these things in half. Cut them all in half. All these numbers, and you can see just how bad it is to be a movie theater operator or to be a movie theater chain. You're definitely cutting payroll at this point in time. You're cutting staff. You're cutting hours. You're cutting back on a lot of things. You're probably cutting down on a number of theaters, like different screens. If I was in that business, I'd say to myself, well, it'd be more. I have 10 screens in my theater. It's probably more profitable for me to just operate off of 6 and go from there and see what happens instead of just running movies in empty theaters, right? At some point in time, you're going to start to see that. I remember when drive-ins went away. Drive-ins was how you went and saw movies when I was a kid. Yes, I'm a drive-in child. Take that for what it's worth. Then cable came along and movie theaters and all that stuff, and drive-ins went away. Are we seeing the death of movie theaters? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. Are we seeing movie theaters become more of an event experience? Maybe. maybe that's what they're going to be, and they're going to have to reimagine, reevaluate what they do. I think I've seen some theater owners really come up and make comments like, we have to diversify the business, which means it's not only a movie theater, but it's a bowling alley, it's a bar, it's a billiard hall, it's, all these things, arcade, keep people in there, make it sort of like the all day thing. Not only are you going to see a movie, but you're going to bowl a few games and maybe play some arcade games, maybe have a few wobbly pops and a couple of appetizers. And that's maybe what we have to see, what you're going to start to see in the United States. But again, AMC losing $202 million. That ain't chump change for theaters. Okay. A lack of winter blockbusters took the bite out of AMC theaters' quarterly earnings. All right. The world's largest cinema operator widened to $202 million as the box office got off to a rough start. Flops like Mickey 17, Snow White, The Alto Nights. I didn't even hear about that film. And again, some films don't make it down here south of the border, so I can't review them. So just didn't hear about that one. AMC losses, prior year quarter. So prior year, they lost $163.5 million. So their losses just increased year over year. Not the way you really want business to be. Okay. And so if they're losing money, well, Hollywood's probably losing just as much, if not more. Revenues for the 3-month period ending in March fell 9%. That's a lot of money. All right. To $862.5 million compared to $951 million during the same 3-month period in 2024. Losses per share came in at 58 cents. So basically, if you're an investor in AMC, you're not making the dividends you were making when you're investing there. So you're probably going to start to see AMC's stock decline. Now, I'm not a stock market expert or broker or anything like that. So when I say things like that, it's just my conjecture. It's not advice you should be taking if you are looking to invest. So seek a professional. All right. Anyone trying to draw any conclusions about the success or appeal of movie theaters from the results of the first quarter of 2025 is likely to be mistaken, because the industry-wide box office in Q1 was, in our view, a distorting anomaly that has already corrected itself. Now, this is what AMC chairman Adam Aron is saying, okay? He's saying it's an anomaly. It's already correcting itself. Yes, you had Minecraft, okay? Great. Awesome. I'm so psyched that movie had such success and people enjoyed it, because that's what movies is all about, whether you liked the movie or not, whether you thought it was a great movie or not. Millions of people enjoyed it, and millions of people had fun watching it. And that's what going to movies should be all about. Okay, so it's already corrected itself. Has it? One movie success, not really a correction. Thunderbolts, great film. It's not doing the box office numbers. It's not doing gangbusters. It's not doing Marvel phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 numbers, okay? He goes on, we continue to believe that movie-going demand for the balance of 2025 and all of 2026 will show great strength. Well, you really don't know that until you see how audiences react to what's coming out. It really is a gamble, right? I mean, there's some really interesting movies coming out this year that I'm really excited to see, but they all fall into the same category, that they're remakes, they're sequels, they're prequels, they're franchise films. And sometimes that just wears on audience. Like, okay, Mission Impossible, the last one that was in theaters, part 1 of I think it was this Dead Reckoning or whatever they're calling this one now. It didn't do that well. Great movie. It was really good. I saw it on streaming. I'm really excited to see part 2. It looks awesome, but it doesn't mean it's going to do great, because even though Tom Cruise is probably one of the last real Hollywood movie stars out there on the planet, can he still draw that kind of theater-going experience? I hope he can, because I think the movie's going to be great. But it's Mission Impossible number, 7, 8, 9? I don't know. I lost count, right? And people get tired of franchises. The Thunderbolts, great movie. And I can sit here and talk about the Thunderbolts until I'm blue in the face and how great of a movie it is. Doesn't mean audiences are going to go react to it and say, it's just another Marvel film. I got Disney Plus. I'll just wait for it. It'll be on Disney Plus in a month. Something like that, just kind of the apathy of it all. Sinners is doing really well. Why? I think Sinners has had legs week over week over week. Not just because it's great cast, great writing and all that stuff, but it's sort of a unique film, right? It's not like a continuation of another story, a franchise, things like that, right? It could turn into a franchise if it keeps doing well like this, right? Over $250 million made, 250, 260 let's see, where is Sinners at actually right now? Let me be accurate. 247 million. So it's going to break the $250 million mark easily. Killing it in the United States, 190 million. So audience is really enjoying it. And again, you can see that it's just continued to do well, right? Thunderbolts. But you see this, day over day, week over week, Sinners, right? Thunderbolts barely beating it out on that basis. But again, like it's if we go through it, even the Chinese movie that made $2 billion is a sequel. Minecraft, it's a unique movie. It's a video game movie, unique. So maybe that's why that did well as well. Not only does it have loyal following, but it's something different. Captain America: Brave New World, just another franchise. Snow White, just another remake. Thunderbolts, a franchise. Dogman, it's a kid's cartoon, doesn't really fit. I didn't even know Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy got released. Didn't get released down here, so it must have just been a US, UK kind of thing. Mickey 17 was supposed to be an original concept and all that based off the book, and they mucked it up. They mucked it up. They turned it into a political film, and that killed it. It just killed it because word of mouth got out for that film, and it just killed it. And that's a shame because Robert Pattinson is a great actor, and what he was given in that film, he did a great job with it, right? But everything else about that film hurt it. It just hurt it. And then you just keep going to The Accountant too. The Amateur, that's, in case you didn't know, that's a remake from like the 1970s, 60s. I forgot when the original Amateur was a film and a TV show. But it's still, so it's a remake. The Monkey, I think, is just a rehash of some of Stephen King's other short stories. All right. Star Wars Episode 3, what did it, 55 million? Jesus. All right, nice. So, it's hard to say, what audiences are going to want and like, but I think you have to start to pay attention to what audiences are turning away from. I think it's pretty easy. It's easy to see what's not selling. It's easy to see I guess working corporate retail and all that stuff for so many years, it was always easy to say, hey, that product is selling. Why? Because I had to keep putting it on the shelf. And it's easy to say that product is not selling because I had to keep dusting it off every week. All right. So maybe they look at it like that. Maybe if I was a CEO of a major studio company, I'm like thinking, okay, what direction do we go in? Well, that's the first thing I say is like, what needs to be dusted off all the time? What seems to sort of just be sitting there and not really, just kind of taking up space, and what's been hitting and what's the trend? But sequels and things like that, franchises, they're safe. They're safe, right? All right. So back to the article. Indeed, ticket sales in the second quarter have rebounded thanks to hits such as Sinners, Minecraft, and last weekend's Thunderbolts. Again, 3 good movies. 3, Minecraft wasn't like the great movie, but it was really enjoyable, funny. I lost myself in half of it because I don't know Minecraft. I never played it, right? But I got, Jason Momoa made me laugh for 2 hours, hour and a half, however long it was. Moreover, the comparisons to the first quarter of 2024 were always going to be challenging, considering that sequels to popular franchises like Dune and Kung Fu Panda were released during that period. So what? Just because you did well last year doesn't mean you can do well this year? No, just keep doing the right thing. All right? Dune was a great film. Kung Fu Panda. Never seen one Kung Fu Panda movie, but I've heard from all the kiddies, it's a great thing. It's a great franchise. So, the decline in foot traffic could be seen in the drops in AMC's admissions revenues, which tumbled 11%, and concession sales, which fell nearly 12%. That really hurts. The concessions is where they really make their money, folks. I mean, let's face it. 15, $10, however much a bucket of popcorn is now, right? How much a drink is, how much a beer is, right? I think you can drink in theaters there. You can drink in theaters here. I mean, you can't come here and get all looped out and wasted, but you can, sit down and order a nice glass of scotch and watch your film. Okay? All right. I prefer mine with ice. I know some people just like it neat. I like mine with ice. All right. Aaron said that with the exception of the pandemic era, the box office results from January to March were the lowest they've been since 1996. That should be concerning. 1996 was a long time ago, all right? I was only, 3 years out of high school. Look at my face. That was a long time ago. You can tell by looking at me. If that level of activity were to continue, of course, it would be highly problematic for movie theaters. Of course it will be. And right now, I mean, hopefully the summer brings up some really great movies. and draws some crowds. You know, you got Superman coming up. You got Fantastic Four coming up. You got the new Jurassic World coming up. Yeah, again, you know, you gauge excitement for these things. I think there's a lot of excitement for Fantastic Four. I think there's some still excitement for Superman, even though that film has had some rumors come out and some leaks and some plot leaks and some spoiler stuff come out that made fans kind of like a little divisive, but again, it is what it is. Jurassic World, that's probably the one I'm least excited about, but again, it's the Jurassic World. They always probably, you know, I mean, they got a new cast, hopefully a new premise. Besides, you know, I mean, go to the same island and the dinosaurs, but, you know, new cast, hopefully there's something else going on there. So hopefully it'll be good. And a bunch of other stuff coming out, you know, Lilo and Stitch, the live action, stuff like that. But yeah, it's really hard to predict these things, right? It's really hard to predict these things. And as Bob Iger says, Thunderbolts is first and best example of Marvel's new movie strategy. We lost a little focus by making too much. I think Bob Iger might be the first CEO to come out and say that of a major head of a major studio. Bob Iger's right. We give him a lot of shit. I give him a lot of shit over the last few years for some of the decisions he's made. But he's right here, and we've been telling him he's right here. You're making too much. I mean, Star Wars alone used to be an event. Now it's not an event, right? It's you know, now it's you know, Marvel, so many films coming out, so many series coming out, you're just saturated. It's just like, enough. It's like, enough. It's like if you have a favorite restaurant, but you go there every day for 3-4 weeks straight and eating the same thing for 3-4 weeks straight, you're going to want to try something different. You're going to want something, you're going to walk away from that restaurant for a little while. And that's what happens. I think Bob Iger is just the first person to want to come out and just say, this is the mistake we made. We have to slow down. We have to focus on few and quality instead of quantity and mass production. So I think that's just a smart thing to say. So Disney's, I'll get rid of that. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. There we go. Disney's CEO Bob Iger has admitted the company's film slate has struggled in post-pandemic times by focusing too much on quantity and not enough on quality. There we go. The Marvel Cinematic Universe in particular hasn't restored its luster since the epic culmination of 2019's Avengers Endgame. And let's face it, that was a generational film. All right, first of all, let's just kind of be real. Generational event. You know, there are those times in film history where you have a generational event. My generation, Star Wars, right? Hands down. And then, and still in my generation, 89, Batman, hands down. Pulp Fiction in the 90s, generational event, changed movies, changed the landscape, changed everything, okay? But Avengers Endgame and Infinity Wars got to take out the whole Captain Marvel thing in the middle. But that was a generational thing. That generation, that was their film moment, their artistic film moment, their pop culture anchor. Okay, there have been hits since COVID like Deadpool and Wolverine, Spider-Man: No Way Home, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, but Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is not looked upon fondly by a lot of people anymore. But success has been wildly inconsistent as tentpoles like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, The Marvels, and Captain America: Brave New World were among Disney's first comic book franchise installments to lose money since the MCU brought superhero movies in vogue. Imagine being a member of that three, right? The Marvel Cinematic Universe, and your movie that you wrote or produced or directed or started is one of the only three in that whole catalog of films to lose money at the box office. It sucks. Because I wanted Quantumania to be good, but just I saw the Marvels. I paid to see the Marvels so I could, we could review it. And yeah, Captain America: Brave New World. I felt bad for that film. I felt bad because it felt like three different films kind of cut all into one film and not really a clear film coming out of it. And I said that in my review. You had three ideas in there that could have made three really good Captain America films. And they just kind of played mashed potato with them all, just kind of smashed them all together and said, what do we got? Just some bad decisions. Bad decisions. Bad decisions. Okay. Let's pause that. However, Iger views Thunderbolts, which debuted last week into $76 million, as the first and best example of the studio's new priority to make better movies, even if that means there are fewer of them. And it really is a better movie, folks. I'll just continue to say that. Again, I'll get all the hate I can take on that, and I will not change my stance. It is one of my favorite Marvel films ever produced, ever released. Loved it. Loved it. Can't wait to see it again. So, all right. But yeah, so even Bob gets it. You know, he is a CEO. Even Bob gets it. When you start losing that kind of money, you start losing millions and it starts adding up, and you got people to answer to who aren't the audience, who aren't the fans. Because face it, they've been argumentative with the fans. There's been a conflict between studios, fans, producers and fans, creators and fans, ongoing. The whole idea of toxic fandom, passionate fandom, whatever you want to call it. The arguments back and forth, too many opinions, social media being on fire for certain things. So there's been conflict between the regular fans and the regular audiences and these studios in some capacity, some form, normally. But really, when you start pissing off the investors, that's when you got to really, that's their reality check. So they got their reality check, and they should, because we're going to go into another article. Why is Hollywood losing money? Maybe because they're paying people too much. Did we ever think about that? Did we ever stop and think about that? How much people get paid to be in a movie, to direct a movie, to be the head of a studio, to be the head of production? Let's take an article. Let's take a look at an article that's going to tell us some stuff. So, hopefully I click on the right one. Yeah, here we go. Hollywood CEO pay mega chart revealed in one big golden parachute. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. So, all right. This is fun. We're going to go right to the chart because this is where the meat and potatoes is. All right, so what you're going to see here, the stock performance of the company, the executive, the name and who they are, with their position, their pay now in 2024 as opposed to their pay in 2023, and the percent change. So Bob Bakish, head of Paramount. Let's start out with this. Paramount is bankrupt and looking to sell. They've been shopping themselves around, looking for a suitor, looking for a buyer. They haven't found one yet because it's so messed up over there. No one wants to touch this stuff. But this guy, although he's got $31.3 million from 2023, and the stock has declined 27%, the value of the company has declined 27%. Let me tell you something, folks. If you were working for a company, you weren't the CEO, you were just some middleman or upper middleman or lady. Sorry, I don't mean to be gender divisive there. And you had to tell your boss and higher ups that you made a decision that caused the company to lose 27% of its value. You are not keeping your job. You're getting fired. If I told my wife I lost 27% of our value as a couple, as a family, I'm probably getting fired from her. She's probably firing me. All right. Now in 2024, he gets $87 million. That's his pay. Partly because it's a severance package, because he decided he basically said, I'm done. And he'll let somebody else take over. But imagine that. You do such a shitty job, your reward is a severance package worth $69.3 million. Call it me, but if you're Paramount and you're in debt and you're looking for someone to buy you, maybe you shouldn't pay the guy who put you in that position another $70 million? I know that makes sense to me, but again, this is not, we're not talking about, common sense world here. We're talking about Hollywood. We're talking about the world of make-believe and pretend and spin and all that. So, yes, maybe we're paying him too much. Now, Netflix, these guys probably deserve it. Still at a godly amount of money, right? And by the way, I have nothing against anybody making as much money in this world as they possibly can. I will criticize people for making money for not doing the job. All right. I'll still criticize. But in the end, if you can get somebody to pay you $87 million to do a shitty job, God bless you. Do it. Go. Thumbs up from me. Okay. So the co-CEOs of Netflix, their stock up 90%. A little better performance there, I would think. Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters rolling in it from 40 million to 60 million, from 49.8 million to 61.9. I guess Netflix is basically, when it comes to streaming, there's Netflix, there's YouTube. There's Netflix, there's YouTube and Netflix. They're the two top, right? Majority. Then there's 50 feet of shit, and then there's everybody else. Okay? Because that's just based off of streaming numbers. Not the quality of the programming, just the sheer who's watching what. But yeah, there you go. So Netflix, David Zaslav, 9% down at Warner Brothers Discovery. This is the guy that shelved the Batgirl film. Okay. Still released some other crappy films that he probably should have shelved. He got a 4% increase. He went from 50 million to 51.9 million. Okay, not bad. They're treading water. They got DC. They try to make, but if Superman and James Gunn and that whole James Gunn thing doesn't work out, doesn't pan out, if Superman is not a mega hit, I'm not talking Superman needs to be a hit. Superman needs to be a mega hit for them to look at it as success and financially viable moving forward with the DC movie universe and DC Studios. I believe me, you guys all know me. I'm a DC guy, so I'm rooting for it. I'm hoping for it. I ain't looking for the bad. I ain't looking for the red flags. I'm just saying, dear God, please do it right. And please be successful, because I want to see more DC. But yeah, $50 million, lost 10% of the value. Bob Iger, 23% up. Now, that's not hard to be 23% up based off of year over year. The guy before him, Bob Chapek, when Disney started tanking. And then a year ago, Disney stock started tanking again, but it started building up. So that 23% is a little, you can still dig into that. But Bob Iger still, hey, give him credit, 23%, 31.6 million to 41.1. And I'll be honest with you, this slate of films Disney's coming up with, you take away Snow White, you take away Captain America, Brave New World, and I think from Thunderbolts to Fantastic Four to a few of the other things that they've got coming out, Lilo and Stitch, it looks funny to me, looks good. I think they've got a pretty good slate on their hands right now to round out the rest of 2025 and get the bad taste of those first two offerings out of our mouth. Oh, yeah, here we go. This one's fun. I've never used Sirius XM radio. I just never used it. I've never had it, never subscribed to it, never. I don't even listen to regular radio anymore. So Jennifer Witt's 58%. The stock declined 58%. And they gave her a 415% increase in pay year over year. God bless America. God bless America. Meanwhile, Sirius XM had serious layoffs, probably. I don't know for. All right. Brian Roberts, Comcast, down 14% in value. A negative. He took a negative hit. All right. Yeah. Hey, you know what? He did the right thing. Granted, it's like a couple million. He's not going to really worry about and care about. Mark Shapiro and president and CEO of TKA Group. I guess that's WWE now and UFC and all that stuff and a bunch of stuff. So they're doing gangbuster numbers. If you look at the WWE's revenue before the acquisition and after the acquisition by TKO, buttload of money. They were having a high point of a wrestling renaissance. Add that with UFC, which is just always a draw. Comcast again. Let's see here. Oh, co-CEO of Paramount. They decided to start him out at $22 million. That's great. Another co-CEO of Paramount, start him out at $20 million. A little bit more reasonable, I guess. Oh, wait. Triple co-CEO. We have 3 CEOs of Paramount? Wow. How's that work? And why do these guys look like twins? Maybe it's just Hollywood, baby. All right. Everybody getting 20 million. So you guys, all three of you, you split what this guy walked away with after leaving the company. Oh, God bless you. Oh, here's Adam Aaron. Now, granted, stock was up, value was up 35%. He took a negative 56%. All right? That's the right thing to do, right? And that's probably why the stock went up, is because he decided to say, hey, I'm going to cut my salary in half. Hey, we're going to use that money and invest it in other things that are probably going to bring business our way and make the customer experience better. So that's a great job right there. We'll skip over Cinemark, which is another one that really inconsequential. Negative 48% for AMC Networks. Again, I don't really watch AMC Networks, but yeah, she took a hit too. So, but still, ungodly amounts of money. And you wonder, like, okay, well, no wonder these films need to do so well. No wonder these films need to be billion-dollar hits. Why not? I mean, you got to pay these CEOs. Got to pay these CEOs. One second, I forgot to do something here, everybody. As I do this. Dun, 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 dun. And put that there. But yeah. Let me click on the right thing. Always got to click on the right thing. Here I am live. Let's get some power to this sucker. I'm still rocking. Honestly, when you see me with my iPad, it's a second-gen iPad Pro I got in 2016. It still works, except for the battery drains after about 20 minutes. But it still works, baby. It still works. So I still rock it. Bam. Good. But yeah, so maybe that's the reason why these films have to make billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, because we have to pay these guys. I don't know. To me, I think maybe they should be taking more of a pay cut, and people like this should golden parachute. Your company's bankrupt and you're looking to sell to somebody else to hopefully save them. Here's $70 million as you go out the door. Yep. All right. What's some fun news? I mean, that was fun. You know, I don't even know if this thing's playing. There it is. So, all of you know this is one of my favorite games of all time. I bought the remaster. Every now and again, I get on stream and I'll play it. I think it's one of the best survival horror games of all time, if not the best survival horror game of all time. And the movie Silent Hill, which came out years and years and years ago, which is, I'll warn you, extremely graphic. They were like, yeah, the video game's graphic, but watch this. Things I don't even want to describe. If you've seen it, you know it. If you don't know it and you don't know what I'm talking about and you want to see Silent Hill, I'm telling you right now, be prepared. There's some stuff in there that'll just stick with you for years. Okay? All right. But it looks like we are returning to Silent Hill. That's right. And we are being promised from the executives to be a faithful adaptation of Silent Hill 2 in theaters, hopefully sometime next year. So Cineverse announced the acquisition of U.S. rights for Return to Silent Hill, the newest chapter in the film franchise based on Konami's horror video game series. It'll be theatrically wide release in the United States. Hopefully it's released down here. It might get banned. I mean, if it's like the first one, they might ban it. Deadpool, I'll give you an example, like how sensitive they can get too about movies and blood and things like that. Even with Deadpool and Wolverine, there's no way they could ban it. Like there was no way they were going to say, we're not going to show that movie here in Mexico because of the gore and the blood and all that. But what they did do is that when you buy your tickets, you have to go through and you have to show your ID. Say, yes, I bought, here's my tickets to Deadpool and Wolverine. I am over 18. Yes, you can look at me and probably guess that, but they checked everybody. We sat down in the theaters. While the trailers were playing, they sent in workers again to check the tickets of everyone as well to make sure that they were still an adult and capable of seeing this film. All right? They did not want any law violations, things like that. Very sensitive about that. So I don't know if they make Return to Silent Hill just like Silent Hill 2, I don't know if Pyramid Head's going to make an appearance south of the border. I might have to sail the seas for that one. If you get that reference, you're with me. So, per the press release, the film follows James, a man broken after his relationship with his love of his life, Mary, ends when a mysterious letter from her calls him back to Silent Hill. He finds a once recognizable town transformed by an unknown evil. While James desperately searches for Mary, he encounters terrifying creatures and begins to unravel the mystery of what happened to the town. But as he descends deeper into the darkness, the secrets he uncovers lead to a horrifying truth. And James finds himself struggling to hold on long enough to save his one true love. That's a nice way of putting that synopsis. All I gotta say is Pyramid Head. So yeah, they're looking to redo this. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm a horror fan. You all know I'm a horror fan. Silent Hill 2, it should be really cool. Should be a really good one. So I'm excited to really kind of get that news out to everybody if you haven't seen that. International rights for the film are with the veterans who are representing Silent Hill at the upcoming. So yeah, so there's definitely two different production companies. One that has international rights, one that doesn't, one that just has domestic rights. So again, we'll see. We'll see how that all works out. All right, let me just start closing some of this stuff that we don't need because we don't need it. Oh, that one's going to be fun. Hold on. That one's going to be fun. All right. I guess I don't know what to say about this. I mean, she's a judge, right? She was a judge. She was an attorney. But all I've known her as is this firebrand on Fox News. And she's now going to be the U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C.? Trump has tapped her to be the U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. And that is going to be a problematic thing because Washington, D.C., the leadership of Washington, D.C., the mayor and all that, they're always at odds with President Trump, the Republican Party. Washington, D.C. is run very, very liberal politicians. Again, I'm not making a judgment. I'm just making a fact. To make this person the U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. is definitely a statement by the Trump administration. But I'm not sure that after you've been that on television and been doing that for years and been so politically biased and so politically polarizing and so aggressively so, I mean, can you tamp that down? Can you tone that down? Can you reel that back in? And your whole reputation carries with you. No one knows her as a judge. I mean, very few people know her as a judge, other than they call her Judge Janine. But no one knows her from that life of hers or when she was a prosecutor. Everybody knows her as the person on Fox News, The Five, and all that stuff. They're railing and yelling and getting loud and all that, and getting angry. Again, can she reel that back in? Or is that what she's going to bring to the office? So kind of political news, but kind of entertainment news. It's like, all right, where are we drawing the lines? Enough. Trump was a celebrity himself. He was on TV. It was a #1 rated show for years. Obviously, another celebrity. Obviously, the Secretary of Transportation was a Fox News contributor. Obviously, the Secretary of Defense was a Fox News contributor, among other things. I don't mean to label them as just that, but they were that. They were in the entertainment industry. It just kind of goes to show you, I think if I go back 30 years, say 30 years in my life, maybe even earlier, when JFK Jr., the son of John F. Kennedy, the late president, was still alive, the son that is, before he crashed his airplane into the ocean and died, he launched a very interesting magazine. And it was called George. It failed. It's hard to launch a magazine and be successful in publishing. even back then when there was no internet and social media. But this magazine focused on politics and the marriage between politics and entertainment. And at the time, people didn't get that. They really didn't get that. It wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And so looking back, I'm like, wow, he was way ahead of his time launching this magazine that focused on how politics and entertainment are so intertwined you can't tell them apart anymore. And so maybe that's really the crossroads we've come to now, is that entertainers are, or politicians are entertainers. And entertainers are trying to be, right? I mean, how many entertainers do we know that want to be politicians? I mean, I don't remember the last movie George Clooney made, but I remember all the last like political statements and things that he did over the last couple of years. It's like he wants to be president, right? I don't remember half the stuff some of these, like Robert De Niro. I don't know anything that he's made lately, except for I know that he's been ranting and raving against Trump. I don't know anything about John Voight, you know, over the last few years, Oscar-nominated, Oscar-winning actor, great actor. But I know his political maneuverings and his politicals, right? So it's like actors and actresses want to be politicians. Now, you know, which Ashley Judd, she ran for senator in Kentucky against the Republican incumbent a few years back. It's just like, okay, well, actors and actresses want to be politicians. Directors want to be politicians. And politicians want to be movie stars. I mean, look where Barack Obama and Michelle Obama went as soon as they left the White House. Yes, they have a house in D.C. because they are the head of the Democratic Party. But other than that, they have Netflix deals. They have deals with Amazon. They have deals everywhere. Entertainment deals, right? To either produce, create, rumored to star in at some point in time, documentaries and things like that. Where'd Jill Biden and Joe Biden go? And Kamala Harris. They signed with the same talent agency as the Obamas as soon as they left office. Where was Kamala Harris this past weekend or this past week? She was at the Met Gala ball with all the singers and all that, all the celebrities, right? That one where they all dress up kind of like, I don't know, it's not my thing. I watched some of the pictures and I'm like, if you like that outfit, that's cool with me. All right, cool, you wear it. But yeah, that's where she was. So politicians want to be entertainers. They want to be on the big screen. They want to be on the little screen. They want to be on some screen. They want to be on a screen. Right? It's almost like an addiction. It's like, especially when you get out of office, when you get no one caring and no one putting a camera in your face anymore because no one cares about your opinion because you're not in office. But it seems like that's what's happening in this world. It's sort of like, all right. I mean, again, I don't want to misjudge or misrepresent this person's qualifications to be U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C., but she's a talk show host now. She was an attorney, she was a judge, but she's a talk show host. Is she really the best pick for U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C., one of the places that need the most help when it comes to crime? I don't know. We'll see what happens. With this, haven't really seen much of anything from a state. All right. Yeah, Fox News, we wish her all the best in her new role in Washington. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so wait, Pete Hegseth, joined Janine Pirro, but also Sean Duffy, he's another one. Yeah, so Trump, I am pleased to announce that Judge Janine Pirro will be appointed interim United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. Janine is incredibly well qualified for this position and is considered one of the top district attorneys in the history of the state of New York. She is in a class by herself. Cool. I mean, I don't know how you judge that. Like, I didn't know there was a ranking system. She considered one of the best. Okay, by who? I don't think many New Yorkers could name any. I doubt half the New Yorkers in the city could name who the current district attorney is. Even though they should be able to. So, but yeah, there's that. There's that. Oh boy. Well, let me know what you think. You think this is a qualified appointment or not? We'll find out. But yeah. Whew. It rained, it cools off, and then I do this thing where I have to put all these lights on me so I can light. I kept one off, the giant spotlight that just beams in my face, so I'm not sweating like a beast. Unfortunately, I'm sweating like a beast because I have to have the windows closed and everything. Otherwise, if I open the windows, you're going to hear the Mexican sounds of nature, which is crickets the size of my face. So I have to do all that. So it's really warm in here. Extremely warm. So, but yeah. And then the other news today, again, we talked about it, is, we have an American Pope. And the big question now is he a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan? That's literally the big debate in America. It's hilarious. He's from Chicago. They came out on the news and said he's a Cubs fan. Okay, cool. I'm down with anybody who's a baseball fan. You know what I mean? I love baseball. But then this guy's brother comes out, the Pope's brother comes out and goes, no, he's been a lifelong White Sox fan. So then you got Wrigley Field putting on their billboard, on their outside billboard, he's a Cubs fan, right? And then you have the White Sox retaliating and say, he's a White Sox fan on their stadium. They even created a shirt for him almost. It says, already for the White Sox. It says Pope Leo number 14, that's what he is, Pope Leo the 14th. I think it's hilarious. Like, literally, these are the things that we choose to care about sometimes. Again, I'm not telling you what to care about. You can care about whatever you want. But it's just, to me, it's funny to watch to see how people react, where things gravitate towards. It's not like, I wonder what his stance is on this issue, that issue. What's he going to do? How's he going to lead? Blah, blah, blah. Nope. It's what baseball team does he like? Well, I like the Red Sox, in case you're wondering. In case you couldn't figure that out. In case that was too much of a stretch for you at this point in time, I like the Red Sox. So, but yeah, that is what they decided. That's the big debate. That's the big debate. So, a couple of little notes here that I thought were interesting that I wanted to share. This one I'm really glad about. The gentleman, Jake Schreier. If you don't know who that is, he's the director of the Thunderbolts. Again, I can't say enough how much I love the Thunderbolts. It looks like he's going to be the director of the next X-Men film. That's right. When Disney decides to finally make an X-Men film, it'll be this gentleman in charge, which is good because he knows how to work with an ensemble cast, obviously, which is good because he obviously knows how to take material that's a little dense, condense it, make it still manageable, digestible, but still meaningful, which is good because they need to hold on to these good directors, right? I think, we see them give shots to people who, in the past, they come out, this person's going to direct a Marvel movie. Well, what have they directed before? They directed one episode of some TV show on the USA Network. Okay. You sure that's the right person to helm this $200 million project, $300 million project, this tentpole Marvel film? Yeah. And it just goes south, right? So I love the fact that he's getting a chance to do this, or at least he's the lead, you're strongly considered for this. And so if that's the case, I'm really excited for the X-Men. Of course, they haven't even written a script yet, so it's such premature excitement that that is what it is. All right. And then the second thing that I wanted to share with you, and I just want to kind of get it up here. Boom, 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 so I can read it. Okay. Lord of the Rings fans. I did not know this. I love the original trilogy. I'm okay with the second trilogy. It's kind of long, kind of meanders a little bit. But Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, set for December 2027. That's awesome. I don't know we do not know who is directing, but let's see here. Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema revealed Thursday that Andy Serkis so Gollum's going to direct Gollum. Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum will open in theaters on December 17th, 2027. So far, it has a lucrative year-end quarter to itself, but that shouldn't change as other studios fill in their calendars. Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyen, the Oscar-winning team behind the blockbuster The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit trilogies, are reuniting to produce 2 new films from J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth for the Warner's-owned New Line brand. Zane Weiner is also producing. Oh, they're getting the gang back together. So Serkis will direct both Gollum and star in the title role. They're penning the script. So these guys are all working together again. So the original team working together. That's good news. That's right. I know a lot of you out there hated the Amazon Prime thing, the Rings of Power. I didn't watch it. I have only so much bandwidth and so much time to be able to watch stuff. I have to pick and choose. And I figured I'd leave that up to real Lord of the Rings aficionados to tell me if it was worthy or not. And apparently I heard a lot of bad things about it. But with this, that it's a real studio release and that it's the original team that put together the Lord of the Rings, or the first trilogy, then I can say to myself, this could be good. I mean, they obviously understand Tolkien's work. They understand his world. They understand his sort of point of view and perspective on things. So obviously that this could work out well. So again, exciting news. So 2 new things announced, right? We're going to get an X-Men film. It's going to be directed by the gentleman who did Thunderbolts. And we're going to get 2 new Lord of the Rings films. And then I think both of these are probably going to be hitting 2027. I would think X-Men hits 2027. I don't think it waits until 2028. Yeah. When I start thinking about that, I'm like thinking to myself, hopefully I'm alive for that. Sorry, honey. But those are the last 2 little items I wanted to share with you as far as entertainment news goes. But again, can't recommend if you're looking for a movie this weekend. I guess the Karate Kid Legends hits. Cool. I guess there's some fans still out there for that. See how that does. Jackie Chan, awesome. If you're looking for a movie to make you go, what the frig? How do they do that? Because Jackie Chan does all this stuff himself, and it's all real, and he breaks bones doing it. His early stuff, like pre-Rumble in the Bronx, but Rumble in the Bronx as well. That was his big major U.S. release. Go see that stuff. Jackie Chan's awesome. But if you're not going to see that, go see the Thunderbolts, or go see Sinners. It looks like you got a few movies there. The Accountants 2 is out there. So there's a lot of good movies out there. So do yourself a favor this weekend. Go enjoy a good movie at the theater, because apparently AMC needs the money. You'd be helping out the concession stand people by giving them hours to work, and you get to see a good movie. So it's sort of like charity, but you get to watch a movie in return. So, but with that, I am still your reluctant gringo. I am going to go on and get on out of here. I'll be streaming some video games in a little bit, and that'll be fun. So, but yeah, I'm going to take a quick little break, and I'll be back streaming some video games. I think we're going to be doing Oblivion tonight. Been working on Oblivion. My kid challenged me to play Oblivion, and I said, okay, let me try this. It's not my cup of tea. It's a little advanced gaming for a man my age, but there we go. We're going to try it out. But with that, I'm still your reluctant gringo, somewhere south of the border. I hope you're all having a great week. Salud, a huevo.